Hi, welcome to Pictures, Noise and Words. I'm Hedgy, and this is Moonspell. This is a song called The Hermit Saints, and it's from this album, Hermitage, which came out earlier this year, a couple of months ago. Moonspell is one of those bands that I have always been aware of, I think right from their initial album release in 1990. What was that album? What was the album? What was the first album? Wolf something, I think it was. But then, and I remember getting an album of theirs called Sin Pecado in the late 90s, and I really liked it at the time. And then, and this happens, doesn't it? I kind of lost touch with Moonspell. Either I changed, or they changed, or we just drifted apart. Bear in mind, at this point in the 90s, you know, YouTube and all of that didn't really exist. So unless you opened a heavy metal magazine, sorry kids, this is how life used to work. Unless you opened a heavy metal magazine, or you happened, or they somehow got their video onto television, which was not an easy thing, as you can imagine. So unless you actually saw them, sometimes albums would come out and you wouldn't know about it. There was no Facebook, there was no social media, there was no... You just read about it in a magazine, or your mate told you because he'd read it in a magazine or something, you know. I don't know how I'm not sure how bands ever became famous back in the day. Through word of mouth, basically. Reading it in a magazine and going to see them live. So, with that speech out of the way, don't know where I was going with that. Here we are. Moonspell, The Hermit Saints, came out February this year, and I think, pardon me while I stick my finger in my ear, I think this was a YouTube recommends. I think it just threw it up and I went, oh, Moonspell. Not heard Moonspell for a long time. I'm not saying that the late 90s were the last time I heard them. It isn't, but it was a long time ago. I mean, it's 2021 now, so it's probably a good, I don't know, 15 years, let's go with that. So I haven't heard this yet. I'm really interested to see what modern Moonspell is like. They're from Portugal, and they are a big deal, or at least they were. Hopefully they still are. Never get tired of that. That floor needs sweeping.
Break from the ordinary, do what's necessary, pray. Pray for death, pray for ecstasy. Skin of the human shell so broken and frail. Lock the gates behind the Hermit Saints. ordinary, do what's necessary, pray. Pray for death, pray for ecstasy. See after you a shell so broken and frail. Lock the gates behind the Hermit Saints. Oh, will that go? Behold the Hermit Saints. Oh, will that go?
Well, come on, you have to admit that's quality stuff. There used to be. My memory's telling me that Moonspell used to be much more doomy than that. There's still tiny elements of the doominess in there, but I'm sure they used to be much more doomy than that. And maybe this is the upbeat one from the album. You know, this is the one you can dance to. But he's got a great voice. I love his clean voice, you know, his calm kind of voice. I could listen to that quite a long time. I wonder, you might have seen me smile at one point and think, why is he smiling? And I wondered whether the director had said to the drummer, play big. Because most drumming in reality is quite controlled and just get on with it. You know, it's all about the wrists, it's not about the arms. And he plays like this, and I wondered whether the director of the video said, "You're too subtle," you know. And but maybe he just naturally plays like that. But yeah, it's like play big, everything. His arms are all over the place, and I couldn't help but smile at that. That's not important right now. So yeah, I like this. I like. It's very, very listenable. That was the word that kind of popped into my head as I was listening to it. But you know, it is very listenable. You can, it's got a nice sound to it. You don't have to put in a ton of effort to keep up with the song or anything like that. It's. I mean, genre-wise, it's. Where does it sit? You know, I want to say, oh, it's just heavy metal, isn't it? But it's got a bit more of a sort of orchestral doomy sound to it, but faintly, you know, not an overriding. You've got the like almost the churchy keyboards in there. I think there may have been some religious iconography in there, but I'm not sure. Pass me by. But they got a bit of a church kind of organ sound to it, which again is kind of associated with that epic doomy sound, which this is not an epic doomy song, don't get me wrong. I think my problem is I came into this with a preconceived idea in my head that they were a doomy band, and this is not a doomy song. It's a nice song. I like the clean parts. How many metal bands would have run away when one of them said, you know what guys, I think we should start the song a cappella? You can imagine everyone going, what? They've been around a long time. They know what they're doing, so they can produce good quality stuff like this fairly effortlessly, I feel. And that's kind of the feel I got from it. It's kind of effortless quality. Might not be your thing. You might want stuff that's more death metal or whatever. That's the thing about metal, isn't it? It can cater to everyone. But for its genre, which I'm struggling to pin down exactly, it's good quality stuff. So Moonspell still producing good stuff. I'll probably have to dig that album out, that Sin Pecado album, and see if it stood the test of time, because I just remember liking it. I can't remember it. Let me know what you think as ever. See you soon. Bye bye.